Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to my channel. And for the purposes of this video I'm going to be talking about PhDnD has recently said about his next Meeting of the Minds program video, character knowledge, and how do you handle character knowledge. And he gave some good examples of that, and I like the way that that video is presented, and it does really throw up an interesting challenge. But for me personally, actually, for this particular video, it's actually very straightforward, because for me, what someone's character should know, they have to remember. It's as simple as that. If you don't bother to make any notes, write something down, or have a good memory, or keep these things in your head, and it comes to a critical moment and you forget something, I'm afraid that's human nature. So if you wander all the way out into a city, as an example, to find someone, and you forget their name at the critical moment, and that's the way it is. You have to live with the repercussions and actions. It's actually very, very straightforward. I don't like letting players... you can't draw a line on this one. Once you allow something in, it becomes a Pandora's box. So if you say to someone, for example, if they say to you, well, surely my player would remember that piece of information, and you say yes, then it's a Pandora's box that it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Because the next thing is, but you did play it that way last time, and then you did say this, and you did say that. Well, surely if I'd have known this, and there's no end to it. It becomes a nightmare. So you have to be incredibly tough with your players. I found that it's tough love, really, and they respect you more for it, because it produces some fantastic role-playing opportunities because people make mistakes, and it's fun. You know, those sort of things are very memorable. And even when they write things down, players, they can't remember where they wrote them down. So there's nothing better than somebody fumbling around. Yeah, hold on. No, it's all in real time. We're role-playing this out here. So what are you doing? I can imagine the scene. You're sort of thinking, oh God, what's his name? What's his name? It's rude. It's embarrassing. And sometimes people have lived with regret the mistakes they've made in terms of forgetting details. I do encourage it. I really do. Character knowledge and player knowledge, in many ways, are quite an interesting conundrum. Particularly character knowledge, but I have a very simple take on it. You know, if you don't remember something, it's the same as you have a list of magic items on your sheet. What, is you, the GM, meant to tell them which one to use at a particular time because the character would know what to do? No. Or what's the best spell because the character should know? No. It's their choice. Yeah. What's the best 5-foot step? No. You've got to work it out for yourself, and that's the most important thing. And this is interesting, this question, because there probably is another layer to this, because you can then put in a little line, a caveat, if you will, about intelligence, and add this on, that this is the reason why I don't worry too much about the intelligence stat as far as players are concerned. I'll have to quantify this, and I'm going to try and do that in this video, because the thing is you can't, as a person, if I had an 18 intelligent character that I was trying to portray, how could I? I'm not. I mean, it's like, that's super intelligent. I mean, I'm not super intelligent. I can't think like that. I don't have the mindset. I can act a little bit like it, but I can't actually think that way. So it's not possible to ask me to do that. Anybody can dumb down a character. That's easy. But at what cost? So for intelligence, for me, it's more a question I always say to the players, for the immersion and simulation of the game. I say, look, just, don't need excuses about being dumb or too clever. Just play your character, and if in doubt, make notes, come up with reasonable ideas, and we'll work it out together. And this is pretty essential. This is pretty much the reason what you've asked sort of explains in a nutshell these two component parts, which do sort of go hand together, hand and glove, really. They go together. And it's a very, very tricky mix. Very tricky. But for me, it's very simple. Character, information and knowledge is all about the player. Really interesting game, and it helps your games. It immerses them in your games, because people realise that every detail is important, names are important, information is important. You have to share information as a group. It brings the group together, and if you don't do it, there will ultimately be some repercussion, because the GM won't let you get away with it. You can't just fumble around all over the place. You actually have to get involved, and players do want that. That's what they want. They want to feel repercussions for actions. I know that's a fact, because I've had players stay with me for years, and they stay with me because they feel that what they put in they get back. It's invested, it's an invested interest. And I'm not being hard on people here, because it's simple. As a team, if you send someone out who isn't necessarily qualified for the job, so they're really bad at remembering things, and you're sending him out into a city to go and talk to some quite big honcho who's tough, who's mafiosi, and he goes there and makes a half-assed job of it and insults the man because of the way he's treated him, gets his name wrong, basically doesn't even consider apologising, doesn't even understand the way that it's supposed to work because he's forgotten all those details. You haven't used the right guy for the job. Don't expect me to come. Don't expect me to be the slightest bit worried that you suddenly feel as a team under a tremendous amount of pressure when this guy puts a lot of pressure on you, and or even basically a few people disappear. That is your own fault because you haven't bothered to actually work as a group. And I do install that mentality in the games I run. People learn quickly in groups. It is a little bit, when you come to GMing, it is a little situation of course we love our players. As a GM, you love your players. But it's a tough love because you have to want to challenge them. And challenging them sometimes means you've got to say some pretty tough and do some pretty tough things as a GM. That's the way that it works. And this comes back to your very question, PhDnD, regarding character information. It's all relevant. The whole thing is a very, very relevant topic because all those elements are very, very important. And you could debate them many, many times. So I look at it as very simple. If you don't actually remember something, that's the way it is. So without going too far into some huge spiel, because I'm sure this will come out in some of these immersion programs and simulation stuff that others are going to be doing, I gave you my take on a wonderful question about Meeting of the Minds this week, character knowledge. And I look very much forward to your views about this particular interesting, thorny subject. And I look forward to seeing those videos. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and happy gaming, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.